Hi, welcome to your channel. This is Starseed Revolution 1111, and Vanakkam. I'm Vinoth here. So this is your channel wherein I talk about my spiritual awakening journey and several different topics. That is all about transformation, about relationship, about sexuality, about all my personal life stories, and also the experience and the wisdom that I've gained over the time period. So I think in that series I've been just making some videos related to being gay, because it is one of the topics that it is very close to my heart, and something that I wanted to always say, be proud of, and to kind of pass out the information out to the world, because it was high time that I took a pride of myself, and being in the shadows all the time, or being behind the scenes, or just making myself just feel less worthy than others, just because I was gay and others were no, I mean others were straight for that matter. And then realized over the past 1 year, the transformation journey as such was one thing which made me even more confident as a person, as a gay person, and it helped me realize that I'm in no way less than anyone in this world, for that matter. And the sexuality doesn't define anybody, and what matters is all what kind of a person you are in your heart. So that is what defines anyone, and if that is the case, I know I'm one of the best in the world, is what I would say. So that being said, that doesn't mean that I'm just being very so over proud. I mean, too much proud. I mean, very proud and like boasting or egoistic person. But then I just wanted to bring it out there and bring over this topic out there. And I know in my, especially at least in my country and down south, South India especially, I believe that not many of them that who have really kind of been courageous enough to speak out and talk about all these topics. And I feel I should be talking about this not only for India and other parts of the world, wherever this video reaches, whoever watches this video. I just wanted to kind of tell my story and hope it relates to someone and helps motivate them to come out to be their authentic self, or the true self, and be honest, and what you can achieve is something which I could at least tell that from my personal experience, that life is, and life will treat you equally, and there's nothing that you need to be worried that being gay is some kind of a curse, or some kind of a disability or anything of that nature. And you're perfect as such. So that's something which is a message which I'm planning. I mean, I'm trying to pass through these videos. It's nothing more than that. And also, if at all, if there are people who are quiet and not really able to speak up, or not able to kind of get the support, and or not able to make their voice heard, or don't see any role models or any kind of that kind of a difficult place they are in, I feel if this video reaches out to them, I hope I'll be a beacon of light for them. So that is the whole purpose, and I wish this video, these kind of videos gets shared more to the people. And I'm trying my best to start this channel. I mean, I've just started a couple of weeks back, so still very young, and I'm just establishing. I'm just not a person who's I'm a bit shy in terms of in terms of advertising myself and just marketing myself. So I let let things happen on its own, and I wish whoever comes across this video, I hope you can subscribe and share, and make this channel grow, and achieve and help me achieve my goal, basically to reach out to people who may need to watch this. And you could be the channel through which it reaches them. So that's something I'm requesting all of you to do, is to subscribe and share these videos if you feel, if you have any friends, or if your children or anybody's like going through tough phase being gay, and not being not being able to come to terms with it. So I feel these videos could help them, give them that confidence, at least to live their life with dignity and with great pride. And there's nothing lost in life, is what I wanted to say. So that being said, so this video I especially wanted to talk about being gay and not about relationships. That I that is one of the things which I wanted to really. I've always had this doubt. So okay, now in a straight marriage, it is like, I mean, we always compare. Okay, there's a man and a woman, and they marry and they have kids, and so yeah, it is nature's way of showing that and this, and that is a good point to make. And then that was a question for me as well. So was wondering, what is this lifestyle is all about now? What am I going to achieve being gay? Okay, if I'm as I said in my first video, was it a choice? It was not a choice for me to be a gay. So that is at least clear in my case. At least if it is I have not done it for the fun of it, or just to be someone different. And from a person who had no clue what gay means, to be having that kind of a feeling, and coming out of to know yourself is quite a thing, I would say. So that being said, so that was the first difficulty to come to terms with you. So the one thing you then ask question is, okay, if you're let me put this way, like I just kind of think, okay, I'm gay, so what am I going to achieve this, because from when you're growing in our culture and region, religion and all, generally life, they look at you, you have achieved something. It's like your studies, you do, yeah, I mean, you say, study well, then you either become a doctor or lawyer, engineer, or whatever the key things. And then once you get married, and then have just live your life in such a way that husband wife, even you like it or not, you try to live together, have kids, and that's all. Your purpose is solved, and ensure that you take care of your parents, and then live your life till the end, and then the passes on to the next generation. So now, so that is kind of the cycle that has been going on. And when I looked all around, like me, it was the same thing which was going, and everybody felt that was the scale that they wanted to achieve. I mean that, and for me also, it was it was like a path set. This is how, if you go, and this is the milestone that you have to reach, and once you reached, you achieved what life purpose is, what I was thinking. But then being gay, like now, that just collapsed for me. Like, where is the world? There's no milestone for me to say, okay, I've studied, I did my education, I've studied well, and then I've and then had gotten a nice job, and after that there's no more for me any kind of milestones, or any kind of things that I look forward or plan my life towards, like a marriage, or for that matter, and then for that matter having kids, or all these things, which just kind of gave me no reason to kind of there was no motivation for me to, like there was always a constant question, what is this I'm going to achieve? And that is when so thinking in that aspect, what happened was, I usually think, what is there, what is this relationship all about? And for me, I felt like I had lots of, like, I had in each phase, during my school, during my college time, and the initial years of my career, and also in later, like four different four of them, like I had fall in love especially, and it was like one-sided mostly, and as that is the kind of love I was I got, actually. Basically, I wouldn't say whether it is I was lucky or unlucky or whatever, but that was the feeling, that is the level I got to experience love, was to just as a friend or anything, I just yeah, it's not that for all the friends, but only certain person in my life, I felt it. They were like basically. One second, just like some music. So basically, that is what I was I had that is what I saw, and I mean I had an opportunity to I mean show my love was that is the for different people where I had shown my love, and basically it was all ended up in heartbreak, and it was not something that was first of all it was my own fantasy world I lived in, and it didn't work out well for but it was quite interesting for me to feel that sense of like okay what it is to be with another person. It would be to have someone with you all the time. Would it be nice or not? And I am kind of an independent person. Like I've pretty much lived alone most of my life. I usually have this thought whether it is possible to live with someone or like life, lifelong because I sometimes need my space and time and my own time, and I just don't like to always be with another person all the time. It was like that kind of an attitude or that kind of environment is what I grew up. I was I had such such a grow. I mean. Say like what I wanted to say was like I was growing. I mean, I lived my life pretty much all alone most of the time. That is what, and because my parents lived in another city, and I worked in a different place or studied in a different place. So, and also for work-wise, I had to travel outside. So there was nothing that I had to stay with someone all the time and just be there or not. So the question of relationship was always little. Something that I felt it was not for me. I thought it was not for me, and at one point, sometimes whenever I fell in love with these three, four, every time I fall in love with those kind of people, I feel, oh God, it would be really nice that if they are with us. So that's the point. I suddenly felt okay when we fall in love with a person. Maybe things are different when we look at and they because we want them to be with us. You want to talk to them. You want to be around them, things like that. That made sense actually. And then but and I looked at the all my family members or all my cousins or my for that matter my sister or my friends and all had arranged marriage. And arranged marriage was like totally it was a concept which I for sure really wouldn't have really been able to adapt to if I was straight, if at all I was straight, I think so. Because for me, I really understand how much it is important to kind of understand each other before you get into a relationship, and and that's very important, at least this day and age where you have equal rights for men and women and all for each one. You are independent and like you can take your own decisions and things like that. So the gone are those days when our parents had arranged marriage was different, and because in those days the knowledge was also less and people freedom was little less when compared to what we have now. And in this day and age we can see how people all over the world live, and we can always have I mean we can also know our own there are different ways to live our life is what I would wanted to say. So looking at my straight friends, I always had a little bad. What to say? I didn't have great examples all around because the straight marriage was almost like all the husbands they're married, and after that all my friends start what marriage, man, marriage is like this and like kids and that. This is what the boredom of it. It's always going to be boring. And I never got an impression, and also I've seen many of my cousins in my own family that it has been one of the nightmares of our. Unfortunately, there are so many instances I came across where the marriages didn't go very well, or there has always been conflict or something within the relationship and things like that. And growing up also you see I mean my own parents, they were arranged marriage, but it was always like you understand this was given. I mean it is pretty much common that you see the parents fight and then make up or whatever. So they it's like it was just sometimes you feel like why would they be like this, what is there. and that after a point of time they just live because they are together, and they live together because they married so many years past, and this is our life. That is the way it is, like a present for them or something like that. Sometimes I feel like that, and I usually think, oh, wow, wow, life is going to be like this or something. And but then for me, so I didn't really kind of have great examples, except maybe in my level of understanding of my friends. So there are few who have done exceptionally well, who take care of like who are in real love after so many years with their wife and things. And I can count the numbers with the number of people I know. I can hardly It'll be definitely in single digit, the numbers of people who have been so good. I mean, they're happy in their relationship or in their marriage. So, so first of all, so if a straight life was like that, then I used to think for being gay, I never felt there was a necessity to marry someone, because that was straight people's life. They needed a commitment. Because it is like you give birth to a child, and there is some kind of a commitment that both of you have to live together to bring up the next generation and things like that. But then I thought, okay, maybe we are it's a gay relationship and all. I wasn't sure, because that time when I mean, being in India and all, I first of all, to come out as a gay was a big deal for me, and on top of that, thinking about the marriage and all was the last thing I had ever expected about marriage, or even having a love affair or a relationship, or dating anybody, was all just put aside. So just to bring, I mean, to live your own life, your own truth, that is a big deal actually. So I always felt a relationship was always not for me. And so, and also the examples from the straight friends, straight couples and all, wasn't that great. And I just felt, okay, then I had lost that interest for having anybody in my life. And moreover, I just felt it was more, especially I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't like anyone that I loved, that we kind of went. I mean, I was dating for a long time, and nothing of that happened. So I kept on. I was more a lone person. So that made me feel that I was not anywhere going to be like in a relationship. So I just gave up on that idea. But then sometimes when I'm in a real good mood and things like that, and I suddenly feel like, oh, why not? Can we start? Can we find someone? And then it would be like we can adopt, or we can have these days. You can also have different ways to have your own babies and things like that. So there was so much to do, but then it takes effort. For me, it's like I'm at this age, because by the time I could come out to my parents, it was 32, 33 years of my life has gone by. And then after that, to come to terms with what is happening, it takes a long time. And then you to start dating and putting yourself out there. And I was a shy person, so it was like one after the other was coming through. So for me, relationship was something which was which I felt, which I didn't really feel like something I wanted to feel sad about. I just made up a mind that, okay, this is not there. And I also felt sometimes I felt very sad that we wouldn't be having a day like a marriage. When I see all cousins, I mean sister, cousin, all of them, like in their marriage day, they had this sense of being that like, you know, the center of attention of everybody, and look, and that kind of ceremony and things and all. I usually felt like, oh God, it will never happen in my life or something of that kind, because I never looked, I mean, never thought that there would be any chance for it to happen, or because at that point of time and all, I was not out, and I knew that I wouldn't, I don't want to simply create these ideas, that create these expectations. How dwell on that and later feel disappointed and depressed because of that such things. So I made up my mind that love marriage is not for me, and we are not going. Some of us are not. I mean, we some of our lives are going to be like that. And I made up my mind quite early in my life that. I will not get disappointed because of marriage and things. Yeah, it hurts when people ask me. All my friends, all of them are married, have kids and all, and it is very difficult for me to even now interact with them. Most of the time, I avoid interacting with most of them because it's always I never came out. Many of my friends don't even know that I'm gay and why I was not married, and everybody thought that I was more of a playboy and I was trying to because I said I was having this dual double life, one where I was having my being gay was a secret for me, a secret life, and outside world I was showing that I was straight. But I didn't really date or do anything with a girl to hurt them or anything for that matter. So I felt that was one thing which I which I was like okay, felt okay. So it was something which I was running away from when I there were some of my friends from my work and all. I had a good group of friends. Wherever I go, I make good friends, and they used to all of them, yeah, my juniors in my project and all, like, or my even my seniors for that matter, all of them got married and have kids, and one or two kids by now. They are all grown up, and some of close friends are also all married. Everybody everywhere, look around, all were straight men actually, are my friends basically, and all of them are married and kids. And whenever we get into a discussion, it would always be about my question about my marriage, and then I usually hesitate to tell them because I just never was in a place where I was comfortable to talk to them about my sexuality or anything for that matter. So I just kind of avoid that discussion, and everybody assumed and thought that I might be like my expectation of for a girl or the is too much, or sometimes or maybe I'm a playboy, or maybe I'm in a love marriage, or I'm having an affair or something of that kinds. People do have their own kind of stories, or they all these kind of they cook up their own stories, and to make themselves like if they don't get a proper answer from me, so that's how they assume, and so that is how I just left it anyways. That didn't affect me at all. So but then one thing it affected was like my connection with all of them I lost pretty much a connection with all of them except few whom I afterwards told them personally about why I was not getting married, whom I felt very close to, and it just helped me to come to terms, made me feel good, and then but I didn't want to come make this a big oh yes, I'm gay and coming out is one of the biggest things. Nothing. I just wanted to see whom I need to tell. It's enough to tell to people who are who whom I really interact with day to day, or something that I really need to tell them or not, because otherwise there's no point in telling yes, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. I didn't feel the necessity to tell that it's my life, and whatever I'm doing there, I'll be doing it unless I need some. Even for that matter, I wouldn't. If there is any need of help or anything, that shouldn't come from that. Nobody should decide because based on my sexuality or anything. So there's nothing that is concerned for any of my friends to know about my sexuality and things like that. Is what I thought. But then I try to avoid the discussions, and whenever they hang out, they usually organize some hangout to meet up and keep in touch with people all around the world. My friends are all moved out into different parts of the world, so they are just we just try to meet up, and uh, then just like have a discussion. It will be always like about first to be there. They will talk about their generally about the work, and then it would be about the family, then the kids and their school and things. That's all the discussion goes into, and pretty much I get bored. Maybe initially I talk about the work things, and afterwards it'll all start focus will come on to me saying why you're not married and why you're not married, and I get bored of that question actually to every time explaining things and all. So I avoided all those things. So for me, I was just like denying myself all the things that was so good. I mean, others you might find a relationship, oh God, this and that. You might feel bad being in a relationship, but for me, like it was something which I didn't feel I would ever get into a relationship at all. So I didn't feel I deserve anything of that kind. So that is the kind of attitude I was in. So, living like that, I just felt I was not worthy for anything great to happen in my life, and I felt like a disappointment to my parents all the time. And because as a parent, when they look at your, I mean, wherever they go, they are under all the same pressure as me, because there's people talk to me, they say, why you're not getting married? I'll say, no, no, no. Then they go to my parents, all my aunt and uncles, or my relatives, all of them. They would then just come on to her, and they will just start harassing my parents, like, you are not responsible enough to get him, like, force me into getting married and things, or you're not being strict or like that. They try to harass them actually. So it's kind of sad to see that they have to go through such pain because of me being gay. Is another big issue to deal with. Uh, but I felt they have really the kind of what to say the level of support and the courage they've had also is tremendous in that aspect. I should appreciate my parents so much for that, because I was, as I said, I was the only son in my family, and my whole if you see my entire we were a very large family. My father and mother side is a large family. Minimum 100 people will be there, I think. So just to the first so if you take my just uncle, aunts and their kids, if you take 100 people, in that if you see hardly one or two are the we were the only two son in the rest all are of two boys, and the rest are all girls actually in the family. So the pressure of it, from one generation to another, next generation, passing on your roots and your genetics to the next generation, bringing up the next generation. All this pressure is all mounted, and I felt I was disappointed. I just felt disappointed, and also I was disappointing them, and I had no other way but to live my truth, right? Like I can just then say, okay, for them I can get married, but what purpose does it solve? Then I'm just cheating on some other girl's life. I'm again going to come. That is what the key thing it comes to is like, okay, I'm making them happy and proud, but at what cost? A cost of another girl's life, another family's cost. What happens if they find out later on that I was faking it, or I was just living it just for the family's pride? I married and I was not in love, and so all those questions came up, and I felt it was better to live this. Live your truth, because truth is quite hard to live by, but then the benefits that you reap out of it is quite a thing actually. So today I can walk anywhere, any place, and still with my head held high, and I can walk, because only thing people look and judge me, maybe I'm not married, and that's the only thing they look upon. But that doesn't bother me anymore, and I wish my parents, I just wanted to bring them to that place. That's what I'm trying to work upon, and to show them that they can be proud of they are proud, actually they're proud of me and what I've achieved so far, but they still feel that sense of loss of not, maybe they feel that as a parent they didn't do their job well of how to say, asking me to, or requesting me to get have a family and things. Maybe they just let me uh, let me off the hook, or they didn't put the pressure on me or something of that kind. Or look, they are also looked upon like, oh, they have not done their job properly. So but all that things, these are the difficulties that I faced being gay and not having any relationship and things like that. But yeah, I'm dealing with it, and somehow now I've come to a place where that is where I came to. Yeah, exactly. That is this with all these kind of things. I felt like it made me even one side I was okay, fine. I was courageous and I was feeling okay. I was feeling happy that I'm living my truth and all. The other side, I felt the other side, I felt like okay, I'm not worthy enough. I was not good enough. So something was less, like when compared to if only I was straight, I would have done this more. I would have achieved those milestones, right? Like, but now there's nothing that I'm achieving. I'm stagnant at that place. Okay, what after that? What career is what I'm just growing, and that is what they kind of. I mean, even in like just they can talk about the career, and because in our society you need to boast. The parents will come, oh, he's got a kid, he's like that, his grandsons are like this and that. So they have to talk and boast. This is what the whole world is living, is to show I'm better than my family is better than your family, and that is what I kind of feel very silly when the people talk like that. And I just, anyways, that is another topic to discuss. But so I had no my I couldn't achieve any milestone, so I felt very like there was that sense inside me which was building. I didn't really realize that. Okay. So that is when but in my but when I, as I said, I was watching several videos when I was young, and young means like when I was in my college, college, or when I was early, when YouTube came and all. I watched several movies where I was like more fascinated with with Western culture, Western like especially Western people and their way of living and things. So I was more and also liked I somehow have had an attraction towards them, and it was my fantasy to have a boyfriend from Britain or US, something of that kind, from other foreign country for that matter. It's not only from then, but then that was my fantasy, to tell the fact. That was a fantasy for a long time, and I had that was because I watched most of my movies or anything that showed a relationship was more with all Western actors, right? So I had no, I just in my mind also I built a fantasy. Oh, if what if people like that were there, and then I just kind of was having this fantasy in my mind and building, and because I got an opportunity to go outside India, and it kind of became something. I felt I started building up this thought that okay, now that I'm outside India, there are chances that I can settle outside India, and, and also I can date, and I can just plan on having a relationship or anything that kind. Is what it developed over a time period. It started developing, especially not until I came out to my parents, but once I came out to my parents, then I had this opportunity to come to London. Actually, in 2015, I came to London. So 2015 was like I just came. I had an opportunity to work in a project here, and I had so I came. I was out before that. I came out to my parents, and I felt really good about it and relieved, and just first time accepting myself, and after a long time I was living my life completely on my own, and no more acting, no more to worry if I didn't really bother about not that I'm just I didn't tell anybody unless they specifically asked me anything. If there's a need, I would tell them. Otherwise, I will not tell anything about me being I'm gay or anything for that matter. So yeah, so I was feeling first time I got my license to live my life is what it felt like. So after that I came to London, and London was amazing. London just changed my life forever, and this is so the initial days of my life here was initially, I was intimidated here because I've not dated that many. And even back in India, I've just not. I've met few times, few people. It was more like a hardly just a one night stand or something. Even not that much. Maybe just a regular friend or something. I used to meet, have some fun or something. That is the level I knew about. And after that, there's nothing much about dating or anything. I never had anything anyone special there. So what I did was, when I came to London, it was quite intimidating because before this I've been to other country like Canada and all. Like, I interacted with several people to different countries and all, but it was work wise and things where I'm confident in handling things and talking to them or doing anything with that. But then when it comes to relationship, it's like, because culturally it's so much different, I was not so sure what to expect out of them and what they would be expecting out of me, because I become I'm very cautious about that, and I'm just like I just always have this I have this thought, like extra what to say, I become extra I mean nervous, and I start to think whether I'm doing the right thing, or is this the way to act, or is this the way to do things, because the Western culture is a little different from what we have. For example, eating food, we eat by hand in my house, and all eat with the hand. And then when I come here, and if I'm dating someone, I have to make sure that whether the mannerisms and all things like that, whether how things to work out. And so I was initially intimidated, and also to have a conversation, what kind of topics that anything common ground is there to talk about. Also, I had no clue, so I was avoiding to meet anybody who are here from local, who are British here, British. So I kind of met people who like me, who have come from India or anything that matters. So I initially was once in a while meeting someone here and there. So I was basically struggling to have this confidence to talk to people. So I was very bad in establishing any kind of even a relationship. Friendship was fine, because in office or anything I could talk to, interact, and I made good friends because it was easy for me, because you had topics and things which were more in terms of like official work wise, you can talk and you can make friends with them. But when it comes to your private thing, it's totally different. I hope you understand what I mean, because here you're showing a personal side of yours, and someone allowing you inside your house is something different. So it's not like office means you just know where to have your boundaries, and like you can just always say yes or no, and I mean you can just always limit the level they can know about you. But this is like the next level, when you're bringing someone into your as a relationship into your house and things like that. It's like you're bare open, and you have to see whether you're doing the right thing or not. So that was a pressure, and I was avoiding that, and I was feeling again more and more feeling the pressure of it. And I usually felt bad, why am I like this, why am I just kind of had this the word hate was so much that I sometimes felt like, why am I so shy, why am I introvert like this? And I sometimes look at people who are just outgoing and just like enjoying life. I wish I was like that. I usually think, oh wow, why don't I be like people, like a person like that? And because I I become like that when I'm drunk. Sometimes I am just like outgoing person, like I get that courage and all out of nowhere. But when I am sober, I am just a person who never wants to interact that much that freely, because I'm nervous. I don't know. So I become very conscious about myself and things like that. So I was like hesitating. So you understand where, and also from young age, I always thought that love is just like you have to first give them love. Is like I was always looking after the other person instead of receiving, and I had no idea about what is really love, because as I've never received love. From love means like in a relationship, not from your parents or anything for that matter. I'm just talking about in a relationship, in terms of dating and things like that I'm talking about. So I had not had a proper relationship, or never dated anyone to know that there is like a equal, there is like a give and take, like how does it feel to be loved, okay? And also sometimes I've met guys who are after me, but I was not into them. So I had never had because that becomes more bothering. It was like they forced. They usually come after you. They kind of keep on harassing. I mean, like they become infatuated like anything. But you can understand. But I wasn't into them. That turns me off actually. So I was never having a proper relationship at all. So I had no definition of proper love or what is it to be in a relationship. So with all these all these kind of qualities, I got exposed to the to my relationship. Suddenly changed my the world got changed actually in the last when I it was in 2000, like 2.5 years ago at least, when I just came across this when I kind of first time forever. Before that I've smoked few times before in India. I usually drink occasionally, or just when socializing, when I went outside India and all, whenever that's with my friends, I used to like drink once in a while. It was nothing that I was craving for drinking or anything. That didn't interest me. Also, when I'm alone, I don't even drink or anything. So that is what I was. I was that kind of person. Then came the point where I accidentally went to meet up, okay, being in a in gay world, what to say, there are like sometimes I just have to tell sometimes. I don't know whether to reveal these details or not, but then you tend to have like just hookups, right? Like you kind of have, and you can have more than a group or anything for that matter. So like a threesome or anything that so those kind of things I'm just telling you. so but I've never had anything like that before. But then probably I have to take a different video of 18 plus where I should all talk about my experiences. So yeah, so then coming back to the point, I just I went to meet some. I was really, after a long time, I just met someone. Went and met these two guys actually. And then and that's where I realized it was they were having a party. And it was a shocker for me to see that kind of a thing, and I never expected that to be like maybe I'll tell all these stories in a separate thing. My gay encounters in London is quite an interesting story if you really want midnight midnight stuff. I've seen it, I've done it. It's like that kind of story. So yeah, coming to the point, I'll take the separate video. I don't want to mix up with in this. So I got exposed to having to drugs at that point of time. That was my first time. I was under pressure because suddenly everybody started snorting something, and I just had this pressure because I was the only Indian there, and I thought, okay, maybe I'm like the village guy or someone coming, and I didn't want to be like the left out one, the one who doesn't know things, and to like the what is he is like the spoil sport in the thing. And then I was under this pressure to just like, okay, let me also do, and I had no clue. I just asked what it does, and they said it just makes you more whatever. So I'll just not to tell some words right now. So they said it makes you more happy. That's let's keep it at that way. So I was like, I had no idea, but then I just had to take it. I took it and then realized I was shocked. 1 minute thinking what the hell I did, and I had no idea about these people. And I'm just in a new place. I mean, a new in a known first time I'm meeting them, and I did this kind of thing, and I that really worked out in my mind, and I was turned off in that place, and I was like I couldn't really stay there for anymore. But then I came back. Sorry. So I just came. Like it was a disappointing meeting actually. Then once I came back, the drugs effect started kicking in, and it was quite quite an experience to feel, and I'm just feeling like, oh wow, what was this all about? Like I'm just feeling excited, and all of a sudden, because I'm out of that pressure, that environment where and I'm just outside, and like it's all like the pressure was lifted, so I was feeling the effect of the drug. And I'm like, I'm wondering, oh, is this what they were saying? And I'm just all of a sudden feeling this kind of courage, like out of nowhere, and I'm just ready to go and talk to anyone. And I'm just like a whole different person. And then that's when I kind of started. Understanding the effects of that drugs, and then I got yeah, and after that I started taking drugs, and for a long time, for almost like 2 years now. I was taking drugs whenever I just wanted to have meet someone, and it helped me to just get out of my that whatever it was making me feel shy, introverted, it just flew off, and I was no more that person. I could interact with anybody and things. It helped me in that way, and that opened doors to meeting like people from all over the world. I just had I would say I had the best time of my life. I shouldn't be saying that, but then it's the best and worst time. Everything was mixed. It was a mixed bag, and just showed me my life how it would have been if I was that extrovert. I would have been really a playboy thing maybe. But then I just it gave me it was crazy. It was crazy in London to being gay, and that's where I ended up finally meeting one of my the first and only relationship last year. So this again was in a party. I was I became like an expert in hosting, because I had my own flat and all. Here in London, people don't have flat or their own space. Pretty much they share their accommodation, so that because of the living cost and all. But I had my own flat where I was renting, and I don't own my own space. If at all I want to have fun, means anytime I can organize it, and I have. So it was like that, uh, maybe I will talk about talk about the story of the chemsex in London, how it is, and all these things in a separate video. I'll talk about it. It is total different story, and I just can't. It's always 18 plus, or even more than that. I have to. I just wanted to. I will tell that later in another video, maybe when I'm really ready to divulge that details. So that being said, I last year was the year I just had to. So as I said, I had so much, so much of self worth. My all these issues were all like inside, and after that, on top, I was shy and introverted, and all that finally just kind of went away in a way. I thought it all like kind of went away when I just started taking drugs, and then meeting people. I mean, going to not parties, like meeting people in where there was like chems involved. Okay, so they usually word chems or drugs. You can say anything. That is what they use here. So I felt more comfortable then being myself and talking and opening up to people, and everything was, it was easier for me that matter. And that's where I've met pretty much from all countries. I've met people here, I think. So I've that much of interaction I've had, and in that in one of the things I just happened to meet one person, and finally out of the blue this happened, because I was so what to say, like I had this wall that I would not let anybody in, because after all the heartbreaks, every time I usually had one-sided love, and then heartbreak, one-sided love, heartbreak, I just got bored. I said, never ever, I will not allow anybody. I am just going to be on my own, and this is my life. I decided to be like that. So wherever I go, I play, and then I never kind of showed any kind of never had any kind of emotional bonding or anything for that matter. It was more of just fun and just friends if at all possible. So that's how it was. And finally, I met my person last year, 1 year before, and that changed my life. And I was like, he was all that I wanted in one person, and it was like dream come true. He was British, and he was, and I mean, it was just like whatever I wanted was. It was like I was in cloud nine and thinking, oh God, this is, and then not only that, and that it helped. So, and it went to such a place that that I fell for him actually. I'm sorry, I'm just feeling sleepy. Today is like boring day. I was like not sure what to do, and then I'm just recording it because I felt like at least I want to talk to some people. I was so bored alone here, and I'm just doing it. So please don't take off. Don't be offended that I'm like sleeping. Yeah, and I fell for this guy, and I just can't believe that it happened so quickly. And he was into me, I was into him, and it, I had no idea that I just went down here. Like I just kind of then only I had this all this interest in life. Okay, now what I want to have a relationship. I want to be with them. Like all this interest suddenly everything came, and I was like this. I was thinking, okay, God has finally given me what I wanted after all these years, which I thought I didn't deserve. Finally, after 30 years, 38 years, I mean, after 37 years, God has given me this opportunity to finally be with someone, and He's given me what I fantasized and wildest dreams. I never thought it'll, and that big it was like a big castle. I was building the castle, and just because, and only to know that I built the foundation on a like without with the foundation where the basement was so weak, or there was no basement, only you can say. That is what happened, and it came crashing down with the most one and only relationship turned out to be the most abusive relationship in my life, and it turned out to be totally mentally, physically, sexually, and even spiritually abusive relationship I had, and everything happened to my surprise. To think that I went through this last year, same time was the horrible time in my life where I was is just thinking what is going on in life. Will I go mad at one point of time? Will this happen? Is this all happening to me, or is it what is going wrong with me? And I just was at the level I would have killed myself. Like that level I went into, because I finally then came to know like about why was all this going on. I had this question: what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong to deserve this kind of a relationship? And it was just cheating and lying. It was so much going through, and it was like abusive, physical harassment, and I never in my life imagined physical harassment, abusive relationship. I'll talk about this in the next video. But then went from like I went to rock bottom in my life, and I had to quit my job. I couldn't take on my the mentally I was so stressed also, and I was just on the edge of my life. Like I even later on committed, tried to commit suicide, and it didn't work out. Things which I'll tell in my next video when I talk about my about the abuse, and which I wanted to create awareness for people as well. So yeah. So that being said, so then only I realized. So this is my one and only relationship that I had, which was amazing at the beginning, and it just went downhill like anything. And but then it taught me the lesson that why it all happened, and it was all happened for a reason, and it was the way it had to happen to awaken me to my to it was the spiritual awakening finally happened, that I had to wake up to understand and to get into my life purpose, basically to understand who I am and what is my purpose in this life. That was what the reason. Finally, I understood that it was through him that I had to understand all my weaknesses, and all that he exposed me to, showed me what all weaknesses I had in my life, how much of how much I had work to do in myself, and how much I've how much I disrespected myself, how much and I had no self-love, no self-worth, nothing was there actually. That all ended up, the impact was this impact on the relationship, and that was what reflected back to me. And finally, I realized that luckily, and so it is a part of my awakening process which I went through. And then last 1 year I've been working on it, like for instance last January I've been working on it slowly, understanding what is it about, then slowly building myself back. It was like I was dismantled completely. My whole thing was dismantled. He would have literally, he just was in a way would have wanted me to die. That is the only thing. His whole thing was to make me see me die. That is the only aim of him, was that is the aim. It was like that kind of a thing. And but I somehow came up back into my thing, and today I am in a place where I am in turn helping him out to understand what his problems were, and to also I have built myself so much back. In today I'm talking to you and building this channel, I'm building my life back one by one slowly, and it's all just I thank God, and it is the way the life has to go. And that this is my, but I really looking forward now to meet someone special and to have relationship where, but in the last the one relationship which I had showed me what all not to do in a relationship. Now that what all you shouldn't be doing in a relationship, or what all boundaries you should have in a relationship, it taught me every single lesson I was taught. I was like the big lesson which was postponed for many years, bang on came in the rudest way possible, because I'll never forget those lessons for life, and never ever again want to be in that place, or never. So that is what I wanted to talk in my next video. But then this is my journey and my life in terms of my relationship. But I now I'm in a different place where I feel good about myself. I feel I love myself so much. I feel good about, I mean, I feel I'm good enough, and I am I just feel worthy to have someone in my life, and I feel more than deserving to have the right kind of a partner in my life. And I just kind of right now in search of that, but not immediately, but in future, and be like looking forward to meet someone who would be really understanding, and there should be like proper give and take. And I wanted to take another video where I'll show you what all not to do in a relationship, what all things you have to understand, the red flags in your relationship, and how to identify. I'll take another video, and I wanted to specifically emphasize on that. But then that learning I was what the key thing which helped me to understand what is the relationship means, and how you have to respect yourself. You should have love for yourself before you love someone else. That is the key thing which I understood, and that once you know that, and you get the right partner for you, and that would who would really be the one who reciprocates whatever you want. He lives up to the same expectation, because once you love and accept and have the self-worth and feel that, and are very good in your own skin, you feel proud of yourself, the universe will bring the same kind of a person who has the same qualities, but will also there'll be equal give and take. If not, the relationship won't work, is what I understood. And now I'm looking forward to have a good relationship. I mean, if it works well, but not that that is my. But I wouldn't be disappointed if at all I have to. If I don't find that one, that I'm at a place where I'm content with myself and I'm happy with myself. So that if it happens, well and good. But if not, definitely, at least I'll like to make good friends to have around. That is the key thing I'm looking forward. If not, I don't find a special one. But I know for sure there is someone out there who has to put up with me. So I'm just waiting for that. And yeah, this is what my idea or my experience of being in a relationship and things. So in my next video, I will talk about all those things, which points that I needed to discuss about being in a relationship. And I feel it is helpful for the straight people also to watch that video, because it is common. What I went through is such a common thing where people, there are so many videos on that, but I want to tell my own experiences about it, so that always it's very good to share knowledge, and then to you can, people like me of my who can relate to me, can easily understand and learn lessons before they enter into any relationship, is something I wanted to talk about. And yeah, so that is what I wanted to tell, and I hope you enjoyed 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 my personal life stories about my relationship. And yeah, it may but I would discuss I'll bring about, I think I suddenly thought this idea because about my sexual encounters of I wanted to make 18 plus videos separately, and because that will be more interesting also. And I wanted to talk about that. It's like one of the things, craziest things goes on here, and I had the opportunity to witness everything pretty much possible. And I'm one who's sexually very active when it comes to that. so so I have done my best to to go and understand everything about it. So I have quite a knowledge in sharing that. I'll definitely share that in another video, and let me see how it goes. But then for now, I will end this video with big thanks if you're still watching this till now, and just being with me, and because I share my life story with all of you there, and makes me feel really it just feels great to just be myself, be proud of me, and be open, and not to be afraid of talking my own stories out there. And because I'm not ashamed of myself in any ways, and I don't feel that anyone should be ashamed of what they are, and it should accept you who you are completely. Maybe if you have dark and light side, whatever it is, accept who you are. I mean, once you accept and you are just confident, people accept you like that, because that's what people like, who are honest and just like pretty down to earth, and you're next to a guy not acting and putting up a show in front of the camera. I didn't want to be like that person, so this is me, this is how I am in person. If you meet, it's just not because of in front of camera. I'm now getting used to talking in front of the camera, and then I'm just like being me. This is me. That's what they get, and I am talkative, and if you're one to one, but not initially. I'll not talk too much, but then afterwards, you will be ending up like this. This is what me I am, and so yeah. So with that, if you please do. I wanted to put this point. Please do share my videos if you feel like, because I want to reach out to the gay communities and others possible, and to express and show that express all my share my share my experiences, and so that someone there out there might get find it useful for them, and to be happy about like listening to my story. They might feel okay. For them, or for them, if they're going through the same thing, they might feel okay, there is someone who has gone through this, and but what I've achieved now, what I'm achieving now is something which might motivate them, is what my key thing is. It's not just to bring in more subscribers to be famous in YouTube or anything, but just this is my life purpose, to share my true stories, and to help people, to bring them up, motivate them, and to be their true honest self, is something which I'm trying to bring about in trying to what to say market, I would say. This is what I don't know, the right word is not coming through. This is the message that I wanted to pass on. So I hope you all would help me with that, this kind of initiative that I've taken. So thank you for listening, and see you in the next video. Thank you and Vanakkam.